I do. Just a quick update really, because I've not been making many videos recently. Reason being, I've just been mega busy at work, and I've not had time to get out. And if you've seen in my previous videos, I bought a new rifle scope, the Richter Optic 3x40 with illuminated reticles. I've mounted the rifle on the scope, and since I bought it we've had hurricane conditions since the day I put it on, so I've not been able to get into the field and zero the scope up, meaning I've not been able to take the rifle out and hunt with it. So I mean, it's been a bad day today with rain. I was hoping to get it zeroed up today, but it's been showers on off. And tomorrow it's the fiance's birthday, so I don't think she'll be too impressed if I go out with the rifle tomorrow. And then it's back to work, so it'll probably be one night next week. I might do a video on zeroing it up. If you want to see that, leave a comment below and let me know. If not, I won't bother. And then next weekend I'll probably be able to get out and do a few more videos shooting with the rifle with the scope on. But this video is just a quick video about F.A.C, or firearms certificate, and applying for it. I've been busy sort of getting my gun cabinet ready, bolted to the wall, ready for my inspection that's just been. It came Friday to inspect me, and there's a few things that I didn't realise you needed on your certificate when you're applying for it, and I'm just going to run through them now because it might save you time when he comes to inspect you, if you know them. Okay, so the first thing that happened was, when you apply for your certificate, you have to have 2 referees. They have to know you for at least 3 years, or 3 years, and they have to fill out your part of the form, and you give them a piece of paper that's got questions on it. They fill that out, send it back to the firearms officers, and it does say that you've got to know them for up to 3 years, 3 years and over. It can't be a family member, and it can't be a police officer. Don't know why it can't be a police officer. I think it might be if you get into trouble with the rifle. It has nothing to do with the force. So that was it. Can't be a police officer for the reference. Can't be family. Got to know them over 3 years. Now, my first reference was a family friend who'd been a policeman for about 30-40 years and had just retired sort of last month, so I asked him to be the first referee, and that was fine. The second referee was my future father-in-law. Now I thought, because we're not married yet, by law he's not family. Turns out they take into account civil law marriage. So if you're with your partner, living with your partner, sort of 3-4 years, you're classed as civil law husband and wife, which makes her dad, my father-in-law, in civil law. So he said straight away, he said, I don't think you'll be able to have him as a reference, and he rung his boss up and he said no, so I had to get another reference. The second thing he asked me was, what am I going to be shooting with the rifle? And I told him it's for pest control, and he wanted to know what I was shooting. So I said rabbits, pigeons and foxes. Now I said foxes because A, I'll be shooting foxes with it, and secondly, the gunsmith, which was a reputable gunsmith, told me to put that on my licence when I was applying. It turns out you can't put that you're going to be shooting foxes on your licence, okay? So he had to cross that out, and he says you can't put that you're going to be shooting foxes on, otherwise they'll reject it. So we had to cross that off. That was another thing we had to sort of go through, the laws of why and this, that and the other. Secondly, if you're buying a rifle, an F.A.C. air rifle, and you're going to be using a moderator on it, so a silencer, you have got to put on your ticket, on your sheet when you send it off, that you're applying for a F.A.C. air rifle, and then underneath, sound moderator. And I didn't do that, I just put rifle, and he said to me, are you going to be using a moderator with it? I said yes. And he says, well, under the section 1 of the firearms, your rifle's a section 1 and your moderator's a section 1. And he says basically if you had a 40 foot-pound air rifle FAC and the same rifle in 12 foot-pound legal limit, you couldn't take the silencer off of the FAC and put it onto the moderator, because the FAC, the moderator in itself is classed as a class 1 firearms. So you have to put down you're having a moderator. The ammunition you don't have to put down because it's a single, sort of, how did he word it? It has no means of firing itself without the rifle. Okay, so if you're applying for a rim fire, you'd have to put down the ammunition you were using, because the actual rim fire bullet has a charge in it which fires the bullet, which means that if you were to put that little bullet in a vise and hit it with a hammer, it'd go off. Okay, if you put a pellet in a vise and hit it, you'd just flatten it. So you don't have to put your ammunition down, and you don't have to lock your ammunition up. That brings me around to the gun cabinet. So before he comes to inspect you, you must have a British standard gun cabinet, and it must be bolted to a secure wall, either brick or stone, masonry wall, before he comes. Okay, so he goes upstairs and checks that it's bolted with all 4 bolts, or how many bolts it needs. He checks it's bolted to the wall and inspects it. If it's not bolted to the wall, he'll have to fail you and come back when it's back on. So make sure you bolted it to the wall. If you're just having an FAC air rifle, so a more powerful air rifle than 12 foot-pound, you just have to have 1 cabinet to put the gun in. Okay, you don't need to lock your ammunition up, your pellets up with it, and that's it. If you're applying for a rim fire, which is a bullet rifle, and the hammer or the pin strikes the rim of the bullet, so rim fire, you have to keep the ammunition locked up in a separate safe, so separate from your rifle. And again, the safe has to be to British standard, and it has to be bolted to the wall, just like your gun cabinet. So that was it. He came and inspected me, and I had to get another reference, which I've got now. You have to send 2 photographs off. The referees have to sign each photograph, and then the other 2 you sign 1 and leave 1 blank for them. And that was it. I mean, luckily he's come back out to me today, this morning, and took everything he needs, and now I'm just waiting for the licence coming through, which can take up to sort of 3 weeks. He's got to give it to his boss, who then looks through all the applicants and decides whether he grants them a licence or doesn't grant them a licence. But I don't think they can not grant you a licence. I don't think there's much grounds on which they can say no, he can't have a licence. Now this is another thing, the grounds on which you can't have a licence: if you're an alcoholic, you take drugs, you've been known to have depression or mental illness. They ask you all these questions, and that depends on whether they give you a licence or not. They ask you if you've had any grievances with your partner, the people you live with, or family and friends, people that you work with. They ask you all that, and just to make sure that you're not going to say, well, yeah, there's someone owes me some money, and when I get my rifle, I'm going to go around and frighten them to death. Like you'd say that. So you just say no, unless you are, and then you have to say. Now the other thing is, if you're applying for a rim fire, and you want to take it onto a farmer's land, you have to get them to fill out a form which gives them permission to shoot on the land. And then you have to send that form off to the firearms department. They assess the form, they make sure the land's been certified to shoot on, and then they'll write back to you saying that they understand you're applied for permission and will grant you permission to go shooting on their land. If the land hasn't been certified, they'll send someone out to certify it for you, and you have to do that for the first 5 years of your licence being held, and then after the first 5 years are up, you don't have to apply for permission to go shooting on the land. It's called an open ticket, and you decide whether it's safe to shoot on the land or not. It's your responsibility. They say, the way he told me was, after 5 years you've got the you've got the respect with the rifle and the knowledge and experience shooting the rifle to make your own decisions on what's safe and what's not. Now it's the same with an air rifle, an F.A.C. air rifle. Now I was told it wasn't. I was told by the gunsmith, the same gunsmith, that air rifles are on an open ticket, so you can take your F.A.C. air rifle and shoot it anywhere you deem safe to do so. The officer told me that that's not the case. It's the same as with a rimfire. You have to apply for the permission for the first 5 years, and then after that you've got an open ticket. So really he'll tell you all this when he comes out, but if you think that you can apply for an F.A.C. air rifle like I did and go anywhere with it, you can't. So if you're thinking I'll get an F.A.C. instead of a rimfire because I don't have to wait 5 years, well, you still do. So, and that's about it. The pitfalls of applying for an F.A.C. or a firearms certificate. So I'll keep you informed on how it goes. I'll let you know when my licence comes through, and then I'll do the videos leading up to me buying my rifle, zeroing the scope in, blah de blah, and then hopefully we'll get some F.A.C. action on tape when I go out hunting. And that's about it really. If you've got any comments or questions, leave them below. If you want to subscribe, click on the button. There's videos coming up soon, and that's about it. So cheers.